Right, so tomorrow night, 8 PM UK time, Chelsea take on PSG in the FIFA Club World Cup final. And yes, we have been singing that we have won it all since 2012. And because the powers that be hate Chelsea, they wanted a way to stop us singing it. They wanted to take the words out of our mouth. So what did they do? They went and created 2 new competitions. And just for a laugh, we went and added the Conference League to our trophy cabinet so that we could continue to sing that we've won it all. And we will be doing so because on Sunday, we are going to deliver the upset. Chelsea are going to beat PSG and we are going to become the FIFA Club World Cup champions and therefore officially the best football team in the world. And I understand that there are many of you that feel that PSG are just a step too far for this Chelsea side. They have been absolutely phenomenal. I called them winning that Champions League the second they got into the knockout stages. I saw something about that team, such a good unit, telepathy, the understanding that side have. They are a pleasure to watch. And Luis Enrique has done a ridiculous job there. I think his first season he won a domestic treble. The second season he won another treble, but this time it included a Champions League. And since getting rid of Mbappe, they play such better football, PSG. So they are definitely a side that need the utmost respect from Chelsea Football Club. But to say that Chelsea can't win this game is just mental. Now check the video that myself and Josh Veste did before a ball was kicked on what to expect from this Club World Cup. And listen, you're always going to have some hits, you're always going to have some misses. But regardless of what we said, I want to focus on what a lot of you guys said. And there was a lot of support in the comment section. But there were so many people telling me that Chelsea will go out in the group stages. Chelsea will go out the first time they face a decent team, and there'll be people in the comment section to this video that will go, oh, well, you haven't faced a decent team yet and whatever. But ultimately, this is all we ever get. All we ever get is people go, oh, yeah, no. You'll go out as soon as you face someone decent. No, Chelsea can't do this. Chelsea can't do that. And then Chelsea go on to do it, and it just so happens that I seem to have called it all. And I told you we'd be in the final, and we are in the final. I also said we'd get top 4 in Conference League, by the way, when things were looking absolutely awful and we were losing matches to relegation-bound Ipswich. But that's neither here nor there. What I'm trying to say is, if I call it, I think it can happen. And I think that we are going to win this final. And in this video, I am going to give you lot the starting 11 that I would pick to go and do it. Not only that, we'll speak a little bit more about PSG, and I will top it off by giving you lot not only my score prediction, I am going to tell you how I think that this game plays out. And I could really be setting myself up for a fall here, which I'm sure so many of you lot would love. But before we get into all that, people, welcome back to the Joey Knight podcast. If you are new around here, if you like the content and you want to see more from myself, please do subscribe to the channel. If you want Chelsea to win this game, smash a like on the video right now. Let's get into it. Right, so there will be many people that just see it as simple as this, and that is that if PSG are able to win the Champions League, if they're able to beat Real Madrid 4-0, then why would they not be able to do the exact same to Chelsea? And I will tell you why. Firstly, as brilliant as Xabi Alonso is, he had literally just walked through the door at the Bernabeu. He doesn't know his players on that sort of personal level yet, whereas Enzo Maresca has spent a full season at Chelsea now. He has got to know his players. He has been through ups, downs, highs, lows, experiences, and he's even had to ride out backlash, and he has come out on top, as has his players. And by the way, speaking of those players, when you go back to that Real Madrid match where PSG absolutely battered them, as stacked as Real Madrid are with attacking talent, their attacking talent pretty much failed to attack on that day. So then you have to ask yourself, how good are they defensively? And the answer to that is not very good, which is why PSG took them to the cleaners. And you look at the likes of Hakimi, for example, right? I love watching him play. I love Hakimi, and he's one of the more PSG Galactico-esque signings who I'm not surprised he's actually been able to not only stay but thrive in this new system where it is, as I say, a system. It is a unit. It's not a one-man team like they had under Mbappe. Luis Enrique has been able to inspire that. I was unsure on Luis Enrique. He was obviously linked to the Chelsea job many times. And although there were certain times when I did want him through the door, I was unsure that anyone would be able to get a tune out of PSG because I thought they were a bit of a cursed club, to be honest. But he has been phenomenal. And now you've got a great functioning team with a great spine. You have got one of the best goalkeepers in the world. I mean, for me personally, right? For me personally, if I was going to have a one-off game, any goalkeeper in world football can start for me. Currently playing right now. You're going to go between Donnarumma and Courtois. I'd probably pick Donnarumma, you know. I probably would. And then you look at the likes of Hakimi, Marquinhos, João Neves, Vitinha. Honestly, Dembele, like, death stacks. Okay, I'm starting to worry myself. Let me calm down. There's so many dangerous players that we need to look up for. But I don't know. I'm confident, especially with Hakimi there. He ain't going to find it as easy as he did in the last game. Who did he come up against in the last game? Fran Garcia for Real Madrid. That's not Cucurella. And that midfield of PSG's has been their engine room, and it's phenomenal. But let's not pretend we're not good there too. Let's not pretend we are not stacked there. And there has obviously been a little bit of doubt. Caicedo twisted his leg. He missed a training session. Then he looked like he was in a training session, but he wasn't kicking the ball. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Let's have a look. So without any further ado, here is my preferred starting lineup for the game. And as you can see, I have gone with Robert Sanchez in goal. There's actually a little bit of doubt over Robert Sanchez too, but I do think he'll play in this game. Listen, obviously we've spoke about the quality of PSG, and Robert Sanchez is going to need to be on his A game if he does play. If it's not him, I think it will be Philip Jorgensen. I can't see him chucking Mike Penders in, but I do think it will be Robert Sanchez in there. Reece James, I want to see in ahead of Malo Gusto. Obviously, if he's fit enough to come off the bench, he's fit enough to start a game for this one, and then he's going to get a good rest after this. I think he's integral. I think he's so important, and I think he is a man that is for the big occasions. Out of anyone in this team, it's only really Reece James who has been there on that stage and done it. You know, you've got the likes of Pedro Neto, who's won Nations Leagues, obviously Enzo Fernandez winning the World Cup, and Cucurella winning the Euros, but that's with their national teams. In terms of doing it with Chelsea Football Club, Reece James is the only one that can solidly say that he's done that. You know, Trevor Chalobah as well, of course, but in terms of really playing a role in those games, I'm talking Champions League final and whatnot, Reece James is the man with the experience. That's why I've paired him with Trevor Chalobah. Tosin Adarabioyo has been great for us in this tournament, and I would have no problem with Tosin Adarabioyo being in there over Trevor Chalobah for this game. I'll put that on record now, but I will stick with my boy Trevor Chalobah. Levi Colwill in at left centre-back, and Cucurella is going to be so important for us over at left back. We will speak about the role that Cucurella plays and carries out in this game, because it might change ever so slightly from what we've seen from him so far in this tournament. Now, Caicedo is going to play. Whenever there's been doubts over the injury status of Caicedo, he's always managed to put it out the bag and play the game. I don't think this will be any different. Enzo Fernandez and then Cole Palmer in the 10 ahead of him. Right wing, we're going with João Pedro. I think when you start Reece James at right back, you need João Pedro in front of him for that support and just for the legs, for the amount of work that he offers to cover and facilitate Reece James. And then then over on the other side, on the left wing, we're going João Pedro. We haven't really seen him out there yet. He came on for a cameo in his full debut. Obviously, he played up top. He was brilliant. But when I look at those 2 goals he scored, they did come kind of more from the left-hand side anyway. So I would stick him out on that left wing and have the presence of Liam Delap in there, because I think that can be a real problem. And I think that, I don't know, man, I'm not going to lie. When you look at that team that I've put out there, it maybe doesn't have as many superstars in it as PSG's. Maybe doesn't have as good a goalkeeper in it as PSG's. But something tells me it's got enough to beat PSG's team. And I'm not going to lie, right? I'm scared of this whole PSG press, right? Dembele coming up against Sanchez terrifies me. And Robert Sanchez is going to need to have a worldie, the match of his life. And that basically just means don't make any mistakes, because sometimes, right, in the league, you can make them. You'll get away with them. The class, the finishing, the potency in front of goal, and just being able to take that chance or that gift that you've been given and convert it is something that maybe half the sides in the Premier League aren't doing week in, week out if we give them those chances. PSG will do it, right? You give these boys a misplaced pass, an interception, a tackle on the back line, they will punish you for it. They will punish you for it. And even when we talk about a misplaced pass, you know, you could just be putting someone else on the chopping board. Don't give Caicedo a hospital pass that he's going to have to make a hospital challenge for and risk getting booked or sent off. So keeping things simple is what I want Robert Sanchez to do in this game, right? And I hate to sound negative because this is a negative start to things, but this one could be one that comes down to individual errors. And when you speak about individual errors, can you see Donnarumma making many? I can't. So it's essential that Robert Sanchez has a good game in this one. Now, with Hakimi bombing forwards, right, PSG, much like Chelsea, are going to be moving into a 3 at the back when they're in possession, and especially when they're going forward. And obviously with players like Caicedo and Cucurella, amongst others, that are very, very good at nipping in there and cutting the ball out, there's obviously going to be that potential that we're going to be able to catch PSG on the counter-attack in transition, maybe, hopefully, when Hakimi is bombing forward, and then we're going to be able to get upside and put some real pressure on that PSG backline. But when we do get the chance to do it, we're going to need to be clinical. We're going to need to be clinical. We're going to need to take our chances. And it could come down to a Cole Palmer penalty, you know. It could come down to Pedro Neto on the break. It could come down to a Liam Delap chance. I don't know. But whenever it does happen, we need to take that chance. Because if we have 6 shots on target, I'd back Donnarumma to save about 5 of them, honestly. So with a goalie like him, there's no guarantee just because you beat the defence, you're going to beat the goalkeeper. And that is what I worry about. Because when I look at this game, I'm not looking at Madrid and looking at Inter and thinking, oh, that could happen to us. I'm not looking at that. I'm more just thinking, can we break them down? Can we score against them? So, yeah, that's the main thing. I don't care if we get beat trying to win. I don't want to get beat trying to lose in less embarrassing fashion than Madrid did, than Inter Milan did. I want to go and try and win this game. And ultimately, here's how I think it plays out. Here's my gut instinct, right? And to predict a 90-minute game of football, which could be, you know, extra time, penalties as well, right, is ridiculously hard. But here's my stab in the dark. I think that Chelsea come under a lot of pressure early on. I think PSG have a good start to this game, but I do think that Chelsea ride their luck. Listen, maybe the woodwork even comes in handy for us, but by hook or by crook, I think that Chelsea come through that first half sort of unscathed, and I think that much like many of our harder games in the Premier League against the likes of Liverpool and against the likes of Man City and Arsenal and teams like that, I think that after a quarter of an hour, 20 minutes, we'll start to come into the game and actually start to get a hold of possession a little bit more, start to balance ourselves out and start to create things for ourselves. And this is where I see that midfield mix becoming so interesting, because if it's Vitinha, Neves and Ruiz against Caicedo, Enzo and Palmer, then I don't know, it's a flip of a coin, and it's a coin that might flip in PSG's favour. But if I take Palmer out of that mix and I put Cucurella into that mix, then I would say our midfield is stronger than PSG's, or at least just as strong. However, the problem with that is if you invert Cucurella into midfield, then Hakimi's going to be having it off, running up that right flank where we need Cucurella to be on him. So it's going to need to be the perfect balancing act from the Spaniard to keep the Moroccan superstar quiet. But I do think that Cucurella has that in him. I see there being so many subplots within this game, so many individual battles, so many interesting areas, and I think that this final is going to be one that's way more in the mould of a Munich-esque final than a Porto-esque final. What I mean by that is it could go to extra time. Chelsea could have to hold on for penalties and we might need to get lucky to win it. But I'm backing us to win it. I'm backing us to win it. I'm backing us to win it 1-0 in a game where the stats massively favour PSG. But stats don't equal goals, my friends, do they? And records are for DJs. Chelsea are getting this one done. PSG will fluff their lines time in, time out. Sanchez will have the game of his life. Cucurella and Caicedo will both have worldy matches too, and Pedro Neto is going to slip in behind and score the winner for us in this game. And I'll tell you what, my God, if that happens, I better go and buy a lottery ticket, because that must mean this is my lucky day when it comes to predictions. But speaking of predictions, I want yours in the comment section below. And also, just how much have we enjoyed this Club World Cup? Because there's a lot of negativity, and it's starting to be quashed a little bit now as the tournament goes on, and people are starting to acknowledge, do you know what? This is quite good. We're all having good fun and the games are good and they're competitive. But at first, people were slating it, and now people understand that every few years the Club World Cup comes round and it's a big deal, and there's a lot of fucking money up for grabs, my friend, most of which Chelsea have already got, and most of which we will probably be spending on your club's favourite player. I'm sorry to tell you. So, people, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I will see you all in the live stream for the game tomorrow night, 8 PM on the channel. I'll see you all there.